Give us your insights on the recent terrorist incident in New Orleans from a police perspective. What went right, what went wrong? What did you see that made you want to throw something at the television, if anything?
The only thing that I think that went right is, and if you watch the video carefully, I don't think they realized that what he did was intentional because they didn't really have their guns out when they approached the vehicle.
Right.
But they responded immediately and neutralized him. So he had two other devices and then one in the truck that he didn't set off. And the problem I have with the whole thing is, I mean, the FBI is the FBI.
Yeah.
I think they're playing certain things in this whole thing because November, I remember initially when it happened, they talked about travel to Egypt. He went to Egypt, then he came back, right? So, and he got radicalized around 2007 or when he got divorced from his wife. I want to say it was 2017, but he's been going down this primrose path, headed this way. And he was,
For a
an
while.
IT guy. He's a fairly intelligent guy, right? This is not a dumb guy. So the one thing that went right is they engaged him right away. And I guess he had a remote to set the bombs off. So if they hadn't engaged him right away, then it might have been more catastrophic. Everything else was wrong. As a matter of fact, the city in general. So everybody was talking about how they had vehicles as barricades. The reality is the barricades that they had in place. I don't know if you saw this report from a few days ago. Were not designed to handle that anyway.
No.
They were designed to handle a car going 10 miles an hour.
Right.
So they're really for show. So the reality is this: were they prepared for that at all? The answer is no. Nobody was. I think New York and LA get the most hype. I mean, those are obvious targets that, it is everything that particular group loathes, right?
Right.
It's money, power, whatever. So they would love to hit those cities. The problem is those cities have such a presence and are more prepared and have so many more officers and resources that they're hardened a little bit, right? After 9/11, right, New York is very sensitive to that kind of attack.
Yes.
And they know how to deal with it really well. So if you get into targeting, bad guys do targeting as well. They assess targets. You want certain things. You want something that is very Americana, something you loathe. Obviously, the French Quarter has a certain reputation,
yes.
right? Right. So,
yes.
So that's kind of a cool target. It also is not as well protected. It's not as well thought of, yet there's press and a lot of resources nearby to get visuals on it.
No, I used to live outside New Orleans, and I spent some time in the quarter. And, I know they had these removable concrete bollards that they can put in the way. And I know they had a police car at the end of, by Canal. And of course, you listen to the chief and she's like, well, we had it blocked off. We had it, it was a target. It was hardened, but he went around it. He went up on the sidewalk, almost kind of like he didn't play fair. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, well, he scouted it. You could tell by the way he drove that he already knew the path. Like he'd been by it. He already had the meta glasses and he was recording everything.
I saw the bicycle visit that he took. And, so many smart things. The vehicle, I'm very familiar with those kinds of vehicles, and they don't make a lot of noise, but they are very, very heavy. And a truck, the F-150 Lightning, it has a tremendous amount of torque. And from the time he turned the corner and got to a high speed was very, very quickly.
Yeah, so I honestly believe that he's showing capability beyond what he got in the Army.
Yeah.
So the Army's going to train you. He's an IT guy. He did human resources. Okay, so for him to scout that out in that professional a way tells me that when he goes to Egypt, he went somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
And he actually got formal training on how to do this. So I think that's really getting underrepresented. And guys over there, ISIS and general Al-Qaeda, whatever, they're looking for guys like that.
Yes.
Who actually are very intelligent, who have an American passport, who aren't going to get looked at as hard. And that's the thing is, a lot of the terrorists or whatever that are going to come to the country, they're going to do a lot of things to mitigate anything to even get looked at.
Oh yeah.
The Saudis that came here that flew into the buildings, right? They had passports, visa. They're Saudi Arabia. They're technically a friendly country, right?